Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off. Online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, 20 takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, and with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and in today's episode, we are joined by a very special guest and one of my favorite podcasters, Zach Jarom from the Windy City's Veterans Podcast. So happy to have you on the show, Jarom. How are you?
I'm doing great and so glad to be here. It's been a long time in the making, and I'm glad we finally got it to go.
Yeah, it's been a while in the making, but it's worth it now because you're on right now. So it's all that really matters. But like, how's life been recently with all this like COVID stuff going on, like not having to play hockey as much and like work as well?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think everybody else is just kind of like trying to figure out how to live, because it kind of feels like this might be our new norm for a while, unfortunately. Yeah, it's been tough not skating as much as I used to. I've only been out there maybe a handful of times since all this has really gone down. But it's the worst is just not having that hockey NHL out there too, because it's like, when the playoffs were going on, it's like at least we had that to fall on, and it was hockey every day from in the morning to night and all that kind of stuff. So now we're kind of in that purgatory mode. We're just trying to figure out like, well, okay, well, what are we doing? What do we do? A lot of NHL 21 playing, trying to get a lot of Call of Duty with the guys. I'm absolutely terrible. So I'm always like the money. They call me the ATM in the war zone, because I just go pick up all the money and toss it over to them so they can get what they need. But yeah, just like everybody else, just trying to navigate and stay positive and not get into like that quarantine funk.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm a terrible Call of Duty player too, and like my game is just aggressive. Like I don't care what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go out aggressive and kill as many people as I can and try not to die as much.
Exactly.
Which generally isn't the case.
Yeah.
It's always me dying first, and
I always pull
often.
Yeah, I always pull the wild card mode, and especially because when we play, we just play the war zone. So I'm always wild card. They're like picking their spot, they're dropping at, and I'm just going off on the other side of the map and hoping to God I meet up with them at some point.
Yeah, just find your way somehow.
Exactly.
And like I've been playing a lot of NHL 20 as well, especially during like quarantine. Like I played a disgusting amount of video games. Like I was up to like 3-4 in the morning every night just playing, and it's like now since like we're somewhat in a normalcy right now, like how it's gonna be. Like I haven't played video games as much, but like just looking back, it's like, wow, did I really play that many video games and
Right?
that many hours?
Yeah, I mean, I think I
Crazy.
almost finished an entire first season of that Be a Pro in the new game, and I mean that's playing almost every single game. So I need to find a little bit more hobbies, I think.
How is NHL 21? I've heard pretty good things about it.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of reamped the Be a Pro a little bit. I mean, other than that, it's really just it's like roster update essentially. I mean, you could try to do the Michigan and the Kucherov no look deke and all that, or no move deke. But I mean, yeah, it's NHL. It's what you expect from it. I think they're gonna go all out next year with the new systems out and all that. So just bear with it for one more year, I think.
Yeah, the games have pretty much been the same ever since like NHL 15, 16.
Right. I
It
mean,
gets old, but like I still go and buy it just to play with my buddies and just it's just a new year, so why not get the next version of it?
exactly. Every year I say I'm not going to buy because it's a roster update, and day one I'm pre-order to get all extra bundles and all that kind of stuff. What they really need to do though is they need to bring back the GM connected mode, and that is just like millions of dollars being wasted right there. I think they would bring back an entire audience of gamers if they brought that mode back.
That was from 17, right? Or
No, that was actually I don't think that's been in there since 13.
oh
Yeah, so it was
oh
like I mean
wow.
I don't know if you've ever played it, but it's like the mode basically it's a franchise mode. You play a full season, but everybody like does their own team. So you can play your buddies and like have like actual like season stakes on it. And it was so much fun doing the trades. It's real life fantasy hockey. Well, not real life, but like video game fantasy
Yeah,
hockey essentially.
virtual world there.
Exactly. Yeah. You actually get to play instead of, watching and all that. So it was fun. I don't know why they took that out.
Yeah, I think I played a little bit of that because I do remember bits and pieces of that, but it's been a while
Yeah.
since that happened. I was only 13 at the time, so it's
Oh
been
man.
more than 6, 7 years. It's a big time difference.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so let's get into some NHL really quick. Like,
Sure.
what like what do you think's going to happen with the NHL? Because we have absolutely no clue what's happening this year, and like just like from like all the news that we've been hearing, like nothing's been like confirmed or like coming out like completely like that we know of. So like, what do you think's going to happen with the NHL season?
Yeah, I mean bits and pieces. Even today, I was kind of because of course we put an episode out asking what the hell's going on, the same question, and we always have that jinx where we talk about something and then the news drops as soon as we hit stop record. But so I was checking, and I don't know if you're familiar with the account Triple Deke on Instagram.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Actually, right before I got on with you, I was looking at their account that they had like an inside source with San Jose who was telling them that the players need to report or plan reporting in January. So I think the January 1st is just out the window. There's absolutely no way that can possibly happen because that's like 50, 49 days away. So you have to do a training camp and all that kind of stuff. Um, I think they're going to report probably like mid-January, and then they're going to probably do I think the best way to look at it is probably think about the 2013 season with the lockout shortened, something probably similar to that. Um, makes the most sense to me. I don't know. I know they want to get 82 games in, but then that's like they're playing till September. It's like just take the bullet.
And
You're
then
not
it
gonna have
screws up the entire
ex-
other season.
exactly, and then especially with Seattle coming in, it's like you kind of want to have everything right from like back to normal a little bit. You're not going to have fans again this year. If you do, it's going to be very minimal. So it's like bite the bullet. You're losing the revenue anyways. Do a shortened season, get back on a schedule, and go from there.
Yeah, and then just go from there and like have fans go on the next season like full like hopefully full on and just because they'll gain back some sort of money from that and from some sort of revenue, and then I think there's gonna be definitely gonna be a shortened season like like you said 82 game season. I don't see that happening because that'll last to September like you said, and then
Yeah,
screws over the entire other season, which is also not good for anything really.
exactly.
And then like I think they're gonna do like I would say ideal is probably like 40, 50 games, something like that. Just to get like that halfway point of the season, like to end in like June or at least early July, so they can actually somewhat have like a strict plan for the following season as well.
Yeah, I believe I read something somewhere saying that their goal is to have the cup awarded by at no later than like mid-July. So it's definitely going to be probably a short off season again. Um, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I can't see more than 50 games. Somebody was saying possibly 70, but that's still, I mean, the NBA, I hate to compare it to the NBA and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they're starting December 22nd and they're doing, I believe it's 72 games. So I think if you're starting in late January, you got to at least take maybe like 15 games off of that. So you're looking at that 50 mark range.
Yeah, for sure. But I will say it was pretty cool to watch hockey every day from morning to night during like
Yeah.
this whole like playoff season, and like it was a lot of fun, especially like having like get throughout the summer and like you being able to like be like not working and all that and just enjoying your time just watching hockey and like watching the Hawks.
Yeah, I mean, if as short run as it was, and I think it was probably a run that should never have happened now, but yeah, it was great. What like I was at work and we're throwing the 10 o'clock comes around, tossing on USA Network, and boom, there's hockey being played, and takes me right to the time I go home, come home, toss on hockey again. It was
Hockey
just
on to like midnight.
it was like amazing. And as much as I love that, I never want to see that again, just because that means you're in a weird situation like this. Like I loved the round robin, the buy-in games and like the round robin games and all that. But I don't ever want to see a 2014 playoff again. Let's just get back to normal. Let's do it right and have
Yeah,
fun with it.
exactly. I never want to see hockey go into August, like September for the same season.
Yeah.
That was brutal, but like it was fun to see. But and never again, please,
Right.
never
Yeah.
again. And it was just watching the Hawks like 24th seed. Like that's embarrassing, pretty much. Just even though they did make the playoffs, but like it's still
Yeah.
like 24th team should not be in a playoff spot.
Yeah, Montreal and Chicago definitely did not deserve to be there, and of course they both win their playing rounds, of course. But um, yeah, I'm always torn on that. Like I'm torn at the Hawks with the Hawks situation. Like, yeah, it's great to get like Kirby Doc, Boquist, DeBrincat, all those young guys, some experience in as close as what you can call a playoff like game. But at the same time, you're losing like they lost valuable draft position by moving on. Like if they would have lost that round robin or that playing round, they would have either been the first overall pick or the ninth overall pick with Montreal winning, or 10th overall. We definitely would have gotten that goalie. His name always slips my mind, but the guy that Nashville ended up drafting. I wanted that kid, the Russian, the lefty, the weird
Yeah,
goalie.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But he would have been the perfect pick. It would have made more sense for this whole Crawford movement kind of thing. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, Hawks are you got the best American player in the world. You have Jonathan Taves. You have all these guys. They want to win, and they're going to do what they can to win. So you can't really put them in that situation and expect them to take the dive.
Yeah, hopefully with this lockout season, we would get back in the playoffs and go for a Stanley Cup run like we did in 2015, I believe or 2013 was the
Yeah,
lockout.
2013. Yeah.
So 2013. So hopefully that happens. Knock on wood.
Yeah. It'll
There we
be yeah,
go.
it'll be very interesting just to see. I know on paper right now everybody's kind of freaking out, like the whole because Bowman did his whole press tour about talking about the retooling and it's a rebuild and all that kind of stuff. But the team is good. Like their offense is solid. Their defense has potential to be really good. There's a lot of young guys that aren't tested yet, so you don't really know what they're going to offer. I'm terrified in net. I
What's the goaltending situation going to be this
Yeah,
year?
so it's right now you're looking at Malcolm Subban, Kevin Lankinen, and Chris Delia all fighting for that number one spot, and then that backup role essentially. And you don't have that veteran presence in there. PK or not PK? Wow, Malcolm Subban has got the most NHL experiences, and I don't even think it's more than 60 games he's played in the NHL. So that's a little terrifying. And we talked about it in one of our episodes when we were referring to like what's going on with the goalie situation. I'm a little afraid because Kevin Lankinen, he's the real deal. That kid is a proven winner at every level that he's played at, and he does a great job. I don't quite think he's NHL ready yet. And if he happens to have a great training camp and he wins that starting job and he goes out there and he gets shelled, he doesn't have that veteran to lean on, all that kind of stuff. You're looking at kind of like the Anton Forsberg of like I think it was 2 or 3 years ago when Crawford got hurt and he got thrown in. Anton Forsberg would have been a great goalie, and the Hawks broke him.
Yeah.
like his career got derailed after that because he just wasn't ready, and he didn't have that leadership, that mentor role to kind of lean on. So I kind of hope it ends up being the Subban Delia rotation, but I don't know. We'll see. It's the greatest mystery right there.
Yeah, for sure. Deal is questionable for me because like I've seen him play with Rockford and same with Lankinen. Lankinen definitely has like the more like success that he's had with Rockford so far. But like Delia also has more NHL games than
Yeah.
Lankinen, so that'll make a difference. But then again, it's like hey or nay for Lankinen or Delia. So
Yeah.
it'll
I mean,
definitely be interesting to see who they go with right out training camp.
yeah, Delia, I mean, he's like you said, he's very interesting. He's got a lot of potential, but then it's like he's the type of player that he seems like he takes 2 steps forward and then takes 3 back. It's like you don't really know exactly what type of player he's going to be. And I mean, that could all come down to just being discouraged because I mean, he was lined up to be Crawford's backup last year, and then they brought in Laner on that 1-year deal, so he kind of got forgotten again. So it's like, what goal you're going to get? Is he going to come out with like fire under his ass to like let's go, let me prove you who I am kind of thing, or is he just going to be the discouraged kid again? So I mean, that's a really thing we got to look out for sure.
That was one of the dumbest trades to trade Leonard to Vegas. And I mean, I know no diss to Subban, but like Leonard, I think is worth more than Subban. And
Oh yeah,
we could have. I think the Hawks could have went far if they had Leonard instead of Subban, because I would think Leonard would get that starting job in Chicago for the playoffs if he stayed for sure.
oh yeah, 100%.
And then they trade him to Vegas, and who do they play? In round 1 of the playoffs,
Yeah,
Vegas Golden Knights and
right.
Robin Lenny.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have loved to keep him around. He's a shaky goalie because he's got that really like aggressive playing style. Like I mean, which makes him fun to watch. I love his like stack pad saves, the roll around, and all that kind of stuff. But I think like there's so many like info out there that I don't know if we truly know the full story. Like he talked about how he would take in a cheaper deal to stay in Chicago. So it's like, but it's like it was a whole money situation thing for sure. But it kind of questions you a little bit more though, like what was Stan doing? Because the reason he moved Lanner was because he was committing to Crawford, and then you let Crawford walk. It's like, so why not try to sign the 28, 29-year-old goalie and keep him around like that? It's just the little moves like that I'm just like, what is he doing? Why? Like,
Yeah, for sure. And like just having Crawford leave, like I don't know what they're thinking. Just because Subban's like probably the starter since Crawford's gone,
yeah.
and it's like why would you trade your arguably your best goaltender in Leonard before this, and then your other best goalie Crawford, you both let them go, and now we're stuck with Subban, who has 60 games, I think you said,
Yeah.
something like that. So it's like the logic doesn't like end up working out in that, I think. So that's definitely gonna be a situation that needs to be helped for sure. And then same with the defense. With defense, like it has a lot of potential for sure, but like they still have those small breakdowns that cost them, especially in the playoffs. It cost them a lot of the games they lost, especially towards Vegas. Like Vegas played a hell of a series
Oh yeah.
in that series, and like the Hawks defense was not ready for that.
No, I mean, you were throwing like kids into an adult league game and just tell them, okay, go and try. Um, yeah, it's the whole thing with our defense is it's on paper, it's going to be so good. You like Boquist, Mitchell, Regula, you have Bowden, there's like, then the list goes on. It's the problem is it's like you got to get these kids it's time. They need to have that playing experience. And right now there's a log jam up there because of Keith and Siebes. Like they're both, I mean, they're huge parts of this team, and like I think they need to be on this team, especially to kind of like mold these kids. But they need a Keith wants that top role. He wants to be the guy still. He needs to let go a little bit, drop down to maybe that second, even sometimes that third pairing type of thing, let the kids play and all that. Siebes possibly, I personally don't think Siebes plays another NHL game. I think he'll be on injured reserve for the rest of his career until he retires and all that. But yeah, it's kind of the same thing with the goalies. It's like until we see what these kids can do, you're not going to know what our defense is. And on paper, our defense is going to be awesome. But in reality, it's probably going to take 2 or 3 years before they fully blossom. The good thing is they are projecting Ian Mitchell to be more NHL ready than Adam Boqvist. The only reason Mitchell wasn't playing in NHL is because he wanted to go back to school. So Boqvist is good. Boqvist is NHL ready for the most part.
Yeah.
He still has got a lot to do on his defensive game, but here and that, it's like, oh baby, let's go! Like get these kids, get him up here, let's go, get him out there. I'm so pumped for that kid.
Yeah, for sure. They do have the veteran experience there too with Keith and hopefully Seabrook if he ever comes back, but who knows? But at least they'll have Keith to reference off and like learn from. But like you said, like Keith, like he deserves to be on the first line for sure. But like just like for that development period for like the younger kids, like they need the minutes, they need the time, the experience, the development, they need everything that they can get to help prove that this team can win games and go for a Stanley Cup again soon.
Exactly. And you're like we said, I mean, this is probably going to be a 1 to 3 year process of getting this team back up to where they need to be. So year 1, year 2, Keith, I mean, yeah, obviously there's a situation to win a game. Keith steps up and takes that role. But when there's meaningless games and, we're losing all that, there's no reason why he can't, and he probably will. He should kind of like, step back, let the kids play a little bit, all that. It's kind of like the same situation when he was coming up. Adrian Aucoin was like the Duncan Keith of that time, and Adrian Aucoin took a step back, let him play and all that kind of stuff, and it turned out pretty damn well for Keith. So
yeah, it's just that development process is going to take some time, but once that gets figured out, like I think the defense is going to be stellar.
Yeah, the new core is going to be great. Kirby Dach, DeBrincat, Kubalik, which thank God we were able to re-sign him and he took the deal that he did. Then you have like Evan Barrett coming up. I'm blanking on someone else. You're starting to see the pieces though that's going to fill in for Kane and Taves and Keith and Siebes. It's like we have the current core, then you have the future core, and it's very clear who's who, and it's great. I don't think many teams have that, and that's what's kind of really exciting. It makes the rebuild and these hard years a little bit more manageable.
Yeah, for sure. I hate how people keep saying like they should just trade Taves and Kane because like they're in the like re-signing phase, but it's like they want to like be there for the team and they want to help the team win. It's clear that they want to stay in Chicago. So
yeah.
So like why not just have them stay, and even if it's going to take 1 to 3 years, they're still going to be playing. And
they got one more big ticket in them. Like Kane is going to be. Kane, I think I can see Kane pulling a Yager, playing up until his mid-40s, late 40s, and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's scary that the kid, like, I call him a kid, but Kane is still getting good. Like, he's getting better every year. Like, his numbers have gone up, like, steadily each season, which at his age should not be happening. It should be plateauing or starting to decline a little bit. But he is still out there. He's still throwing it. And Taves is the leadership guy that every team needs, and that every potential like if you want to be a leader, you look at Taves, see what he's done in his career and how he is as a person, and you follow that. There's not many of them. I think Crosby is like the only other really true captain that comes to mind that's like a true leader. I know there's more out there, and that's great, but there's just something about Taves and what he offers, like on and off the ice, is just amazing. And the fact that he wants to stay in Chicago, he was quoted saying to The Athletic that he goes, he's not waiving his no trade clause. Chicago is his home. This is where he's going to be. So, and he damn right earned the right to say that and have that option.
They're gonna end their careers in Chicago, I think.
I
Like
hope so.
they're
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna leave at all, and it's gonna. I think they have one or two more Stanley Cups to win before they're done. So it's gonna be,
Yeah.
and like I read a comment on Instagram like a few months ago that was like Kane is not a top player anymore. It's like, and he's like overrated. I'm like, what? He's putting up better numbers than he did when he first came in the league, and he's still in his prime, even though he's what
31,
30,
I
I
believe.
believe.
Yeah, 31. Yeah, I think he'll be 30. He'll either be 31 or he'll be 32 this year.
And he's still playing like he is in his prime, and it's unreal to see. And I'm glad we get to see it in Chicago, and
We
like
talk,
how
yeah.
dominant he is.
We talk in our like group chat all the time. Like we'll send like, especially now when there's nothing to talk about, we find like old like Hawks highlights and stuff, and it's ridiculous that how spoiled we are, that how good Kane is, that it's like for us it's second nature. It's like, oh well, there's Patrick Kane, and it's like then you look at these highlights again and we're sitting back and forth and we're just like, holy crap, like we are so lucky that we get to watch this game in game out. Like it blows my mind. Like it's amazing. Like it's like I wonder, it's like how people see Ovechkin, McDavid, and all that. It's like that's how people see Kane, and that just blows my mind because for us, it's like, yeah, Patrick Kane, whatever. Yeah, he does what he does.
No big deal. He's just out there skating.
Yeah,
Don't
right.
don't think
Yeah,
anything of it. It's awesome having a guy like that, and like Taves as well. Like we're blessed to be cheering for the Hawks, and like how good like the core players are, and like how good like the team is getting right now. And it's gonna be a fun next, once we get this past this 1 to 3 years, it's gonna be fun watching them for sure.
yeah. And anybody who was listening to this that may have been like a fan coming in 2010 and all that, it was bad. Like the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, it was bad hockey. Like you think this past couple seasons been bad? I would have taken these seasons 10 out of 10 times growing up. Like the only time that they were really good was probably the 92, like 93. That's when they got swept by Pittsburgh in the cup final. And I was like 2 years old. So I don't even remember that. So yeah, it's so bad how bad it could get. It's imagine worse. That's where it was at. So if you're questioning if you're going to stick around with the Hawks and you want to stay with this team, do it. It's going to be worth it. It's a whole different era now. This NHL is these teams do not stay bad forever. Look at New York, how fast they're turning their rebuild around. It's going to be the same thing with Chicago. Unfortunately, we just don't have that first overall pick like they did.
Yeah, exactly. And I started watching watching the Hawks in 2005 and even then it wasn't that great. And then when
Oh yeah.
2010 came, like that's when things turned around, and the 3 cups in 5 years, like that was super fun to be a part of. And especially that first Stanley Cup when Kane won in overtime, when literally no one knew where it was except for him. Like I knew where it was, and like that was such a fun game to watch, and just like see how Kane and the guys went crazy after that goal.
Oh yeah, I think I almost sullied probably as hard as Kane did after that. Like that was like 19 years of just built up frustration of crappy hockey, and I was just like, oh my god, and I almost missed it because of work. I would have been
Oh,
so upset. Yeah, but yeah, I mean the 3 cups in, was it? Yeah, you said 5 or 6 years, and just constantly should have been three. Like we should have had 4 and 7. Goddamn LA that one year. But it's been fun, and this team's exciting, and it's just going to get better. It's coming up the right way. Hopefully Stan doesn't pull a Stan and flip something that he shouldn't.
yeah, exactly. So, what do you think of the new reverse retro jerseys that the NHL is like having like a lot of teams wear, and especially like the Hawks like jersey that just came out like a few days ago. Like, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I'm a big jersey guy, so I'm always like following on like trying to find any details about this. And at first, I was kind of like, what do we like? I mean, we don't need that extra stuff. Like, just keep it standard. But then it's like the more you think about it, this is exactly what the NHL needs. They need that little extra flair to give these teams some personality and all that kind of stuff. Because it's like hockey jerseys are great, but they're all the same generic a white jersey, and then a
Yeah,
dark home, whatever. But these reverse ones are starting to be really cool, and they're starting to leak them out, like little previews of them. Like Adidas Hockey just tweeted out the Pacific Division jerseys, like little previews of them, and I think they're gonna actually be really good. They look really awesome. I'm just really excited to see how retro they go. The little teaser they kind of had the year, like the numbers was like the year that they were being inspired by. So I'm kind of pumped with the Hawks. It's the 1940, so it's that black jersey with a bunch of like red and white stripes and all that kind of stuff. I've been waiting for them to do that jersey. So, um, yeah, I mean, now's the time to do it too. We were talking about how they're losing revenue and all that. They're gonna,
that's definitely gonna gain them some revenue back.
yeah, throw the jerseys out there. You'll make some T-shirts off of like some of the designs too, some hats and all that. People will buy it. I'm just really excited to see what they actually look at like. I'm really hoping that Anaheim goes with Wild Wing. I'm hoping New York brings back Lady Liberty, LA, the Burger King.
The designs are
Um,
gonna be unreal when they come out.
oh yeah, like it's gonna be so exciting. It's cool. Like I don't know if you saw the Arizona. It's like they're doing like a purple jersey, and I'm like, that's just awesome. Like a
That's gonna be
purple,
fun to watch,
yeah,
fun to see.
yeah. So it's gonna be really cool. I'll be curious to see if they stick around long or if it's just like a one and done deal. Hopefully it's just the start to hopefully they'll start coming with like more different jersey designs. Like I think a Blackhawks jersey in the Chicago flag colors would be really cool. Something like that. Just go really, really off the board and different with it.
Yeah, like the NBA Bulls city jerseys.
Yeah, the Bulls, yeah, something like that. Yeah, see, NBA, like the go like that, like don't go. I mean, they have like 8 jerseys, so don't go to that
Yeah,
extreme. But it's like have your home, your away, your third jersey, and then maybe every year, every other year, come out with like a new like city theme or like old retro theme and all that kind of stuff.
yeah. The the Chicago colors would look sick on a Blackhawks uniform. I would think, and just
There's some mock-ups online of like people that did that, and I'm just like, oh man, I'm a sucker for that. I love the Chicago colors, the baby blue
yeah,
and the red. So it's like anything hot with that. I mean, take my money. I will buy it
just put
out.
like a Chicago flag like all on the jersey and just put the Blackhawks logo on it. And
It'd be cool.
I would
Like
say that would work.
I got excited that one stadium series when they had the Chicago Stars like up on the collar and they only did halfway, and I'm just like, oh, you had so much potential and you ruined it.
Yeah, exactly. And just the other retro jerseys from like the previews, like it just seems like it's inspired by like a ton of like history between the teams in the league and like how it's grown throughout the years. So it's definitely gonna be fun and interesting to look at,
Yeah.
especially when they actually like fully come out like full on jerseys. Like it's gonna be really cool to watch in person or watch on TV
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah.
and watch on TV and just hopefully go to the stores and buy some because
Yeah.
that'd be clout right there.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely. It's kind of give too because it's like the NHL is definitely in that. Everybody makes fun of hockey fans because it's like, oh, please love my sport, like please like my sport kind of thing. Because we're the fourth out of the four majors, but it's now I think it's the time to kind of like you got to do little things like this if you want to like get more fans and more attention to it. Slowly bring in stuff like this. It's gonna do a lot more good. And then it's like kind of like you said though, retro and the history of the teams and the leagues and all that. It's like it's kind of a really cool like walk down lane for longtime fans, and then the new fans can kind of see where the teams come from.
Yeah, hockey is definitely growing as a sport and like getting like the publicity that they need because just getting new fans and because a lot of people are like, oh, hockey, like it's like not better. It's NBA is like over NHL and like NFL,
Yeah.
but like NHL is definitely like making a run for itself to be that top like main sport. So it's definitely fun to see that happening and just getting all these new fans for like all the teams, like especially with Seattle coming in, like
Oh yeah.
there's gonna be a ton of new fans, and people are probably gonna call a lot of people bandwagoners, but it's
I used
I
to
find it stupid how people call yourself a bandwagon for liking a new team.
I used to be in that boat, like especially 2010, like all the because everybody like I remember going to the cup parade after the first cup and all the people there, and we were kind of getting pushed back. I'm just like, oh, half these people are bandwagons. They don't know, they don't appreciate it. But it's like I'm like now that I look back, I'm like, why was I so pissed? Like it's like look at my favorite team that I've known forever is an amazing sport, an amazing team, and all that. It's finally get the recognition that they deserve. Why would I be pissed about that? Like, yeah, ticket prices are going up and it's getting harder to get, but hey, their team's thriving. That means they're good. They're going to stick around for a little bit. It's good news. Bandwagon needs to go. Bandwagon needs to just be a canceled word.
Yeah, exactly. Because like when Vegas came out, like I was a Vegas fan because like my favorite team's AHL team's the Wolves. So like
Yeah,
the Wolves go into Vegas, so it's like people call me a bandwagon. I'm like I'm cheering for the affiliated team because a lot of the Wolves players go into Vegas' system. So like
exactly. Yeah.
it's cool to watch all the prospects playing when they get their shot to play in the show. Like
Oh,
it's fun. It's super fun to watch them do it and see how much success they get.
yeah. And you bet your ass that when Seattle starts putting their jerseys out, I'm picking up a jersey for that. I absolutely love
Absolutely.
that navy or their dark jersey, their home jersey. Like Seattle's gonna be it's gonna be so awesome to see, and I'm really excited and very curious how that's gonna work out, especially with all this. But yeah, it's like who cares? Who cares if you like the new team? Everybody, spoiler, it's a brand new team. Everybody's a bandwagon fan technically, so like let's go. It just didn't help that Vegas won right away. They were winning, and
That is true. That is true, and they've been a successful franchise since they joined the league. So that also didn't help their case. But like,
yeah,
it's a new team. Like, their colors are phenomenal. I think, and
yeah.
especially Seattle's colors are going to be great too. With like the blue,
All the
and
blues. It's like four shades
yeah,
of blue. Yeah,
yeah,
oh, so good.
it's gonna look so sick. Their logo is pretty good. Like it could use some more work, but like overall for like a starting franchise, like I think that's definitely a really cool logo they brought up.
I'm just happy they picked the Kraken. I from day one when they announced every episode we talked about them, I'm just like just release the Kraken, and I got really worried that it wasn't going to be the Kraken, but yeah, awesome name, awesome team logo. Yeah, the logo is simple, it's clean. I can eventually see that one possibly turning into like the shoulder patch, because it has that kind of feel. But yeah, like you said, for starting out and all that kind of stuff, it's perfect for what they need it for.
Yeah, exactly. And while we're talking about Chicago, I forgot to bring this up. I know you guys are excited, but former Chicago Blackhawks goaltender Scott Darling signed
Oh
a
yeah,
PTO with Florida. So like, how cool is that? He was playing overseas this past season. He gets another shot in the NHL.
yeah. If anybody deserves it, it's that guy. He is the definition of like the most amazing human being. He is the nicest guy in the world. We were fortunate enough to have him on our show, and he talked with us for way longer than we anticipated and all that. And he's just him getting a shot. It's known that he hasn't had the greatest of history. Like he's had a rough life dealing with some demons and all that kind of stuff, and he's battled back and won the Stanley Cup in 2015 for his hometown team. And then it just was, of course, a casualty of the cap situation the Hawks were in, and just had some other stuff going on in his life that kind of derailed him a little bit again. But he goes to Austria last year, absolutely tears it up, and makes a great name for himself. And then, of course, he tells us Coach Q he owes him his career, and Coach Q brings him in on this PTO to give him another shot at the NHL, which I think is it's just poetic. It's
Great
ideal.
story.
Yeah, it's an amazing story, and I think no matter what, I don't think he'll end up signing with Florida, but I think that with this situation, this PTO, he's going to show enough that he's going to get picked up by somebody, and he'll definitely be at least in the A to start this upcoming season, possibly even grab a backup deal. If he wants a league minimum, I mean, I don't know. Chicago, we just talked about how Chicago needs a goalie. I wouldn't hate that.
Exactly. And I find it weird because like I was listening to your talk on Darling yesterday for your show, and he last played it with Charlotte in the
Yeah,
AHL, and Florida is Charlotte's affiliate now, so that's pretty cool to see that he could potentially start in Charlotte again
it's just a
in a
weird.
known organization that he's been a part of, and then work his way up to
It's
Florida
just
and with
yeah.
Coach Q.
It's just a weird full circle moment. Yeah, our one of my co-hosts Tanner was talking about it. He's like, so he gets traded from Carolina to Florida. Florida buys him out. So technically, Florida is paying him his $3 million contract right now. So now he's signing a PTO. So he'll probably sign for league minimum if he signs with them. So he's getting 2 checks from Florida, going down to Carolina, his last team played, all that. It's so weird. It's so crazy how things fall into place like that. It's just absolutely insane.
Stuff falls in the right place at the right time, and
Exactly.
definitely for Darling, that's how it goes, and it's just awesome to see him back in the NHL, AHL, see him back in North America
Yeah,
because his presence is really well known. Like he's a stud goaltender
oh
in
yeah.
any league he plays in.
Oh yeah, he's great. Like I said, great guy. I was talking to our mutual friend that actually helps out the interview with him, and he's just like, "Oh my god, he's ecstatic. Like he's so happy to be back and all that kind of stuff." So couldn't happen to a better guy, and I am really looking forward to see what happens with that and where he ends up.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun ride, and can't wait to see where he ends up and like how the season's gonna go for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's get on to a little Windy City Benders podcast and
All
like
right.
the start of it. Like it's like you guys have a podcast, the Windy City Benders podcast. Like what got you guys into podcasting, and like the name that you guys came up with? Like how'd that come up?
Yeah, so basically I've always been kind of like wanting to do a podcast. Just I was always like a closeted podcast fan and never really told anybody and all that kind of stuff. Cause like the time podcasts only recently like blown up and like have been like the popular thing to do. And then our buddy Noli, who's one of the hosts, um, yeah, so one of the hosts, and he was talking about, yeah, dude, let's do one. So we were originally just doing like a bunch of different ones. We had one we were trying to do. It was called 2 and a 10. It was like just 10-minute episodes of just general topic and all that kind of stuff. And we recorded a couple and we're just like, no, this doesn't work. And then we would go on rants talking about hockey. And it was like, I think 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I text him and I'm just like, what if we just did a hockey show? And he's just like, why the hell have we not do that before? So that we got him, and then our other buddy Potes, who used to be on the show. He was our goalie basically growing up, and he was always interested in broadcasting and all that kind of stuff. And he joined on, and we're like, yeah, let's do this. Bought all the stuff, and we're like, well, we don't got a name. What are we gonna talk about? Like, what's the name and all that? And we're sitting there, and Potes just goes, hey, our men's league team's Windy City Benders. Let's just go with that. And I'm just like, hey, deal works. So it's just dumb luck. Everything just fell into it and all that kind of stuff. Like just stupid 2 o'clock in the morning conversation just turned into a very fun project.
Yeah, podcasting is a ton of fun, especially when you get like all these like interview guests and like all that.
Yeah, you
Like
guys
I know
kill it with that.
yeah, like you guys also kill it as well, and it's just so much fun like listening to these guys' stories and like where they started and where they are now, and it's just like talking to like podcasters like yourself, just like why you started and like the passion behind it, because there's obviously a lot of passion behind the podcast and everything.
Yeah.
So like it's unreal, like just like the community of the podcast is like it's all really close, and it's always fun to hear from guys as well.
And everybody's got their own story and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, it doesn't matter how many you can talk to, like there's a handful, like a ton of Blackhawk podcast, and obviously we're Hawk centric and all that kind of stuff. But I listen to everything too, like every other Hawks. I listen to Laz and Powers and all that kind of stuff. And just listening to them, and it's like we could talk about the same stuff, but everybody's got their own opinion and different input on that. So it's really cool to have that outlet to kind of be like, all right, cool. So this is what I think. What does somebody else think? And it kind of opens you up to your eyes to like a different situation. Like it's this perfect example is the whole Corey Crawford and all that kind of stuff. Initially furious, made zero sense. What is he doing? All that kind of stuff. And then you listen to these other shows and they kind of point out a couple things why it makes sense. And it's like, all right, off the ledge, I understand, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, like you talk about all these different interviews and stuff like that too. And it's so cool just hearing everybody, especially talking to hockey players, everybody's got the same goal in their life is to reach the pinnacle, and which is the NHL and all that kind of stuff. And everybody's got their own path to get there. But at the end of the day, talking to these guys, especially these NHLers and all that, it's like you can put like their story versus your story, sit and play men's league, beer league, and just put a cover over it. And okay, like which one's which? It's the same exact story. It's the same locker room setting. It's the same like being with the boys and all that kind of stuff. And it's so cool here. And like these Stanley Cup champions talking about how, oh yeah, it's going out drinking with the guys and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, man, you do the same shit we do. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Not so different.
Just partying it up and just doing whatever floats their boat, and it's super fun to hear those stories, especially like offline, like when you hear like the stories that they can't say like in public. So it's like it's crazy.
Dave Bolin was a big one with that. Like it got leaked a lot of his stories about after I think it was the 2013 Cup. He even mentioned like we were talking to him and he was just like, yeah, I mean, these are what I can tell you. And he starts telling them, he goes, but there's a bunch that I can't talk. And they end up getting leaked about, it was essentially one was like them going to Wrigley Field. He told us they weren't supposed to go to Wrigley Field. They ended up at Wrigley Field. But what he didn't tell us was that he was hammered and dropped the cup off the side of the building. He was up in the rooftop. So they dropped the cup off the side of that and all that kind of stuff. And it's like a party with Vince Vaughn and all these guys. It's so funny hearing this stuff. And it's like, you don't get that without podcast.
Exactly. And it's there's no other way to explain like the stories you hear and like the experiences, the paths they've been on. Like it's all different, and it's all like whatever you want to come to, and like what your goals are. Exactly. Yeah. So going into like the podcast, like did you guys have like any expectations of the podcast, or like from like what were some of your expectations when you started the podcast, and then as you grew like to now, like what has some of those expectations been like?
Honestly, starting it, I expected like maybe a couple of our friends, maybe a couple of our family members to listen, all that kind of stuff. Just it was an excuse to get together with two of my best friends once or twice a week and shoot the shit about hockey and bullshit and all that kind of stuff. So definitely can say we've exceeded my expectations for what the show is. I honestly don't know what my expectations are now, because it's just I've been very fortunate to get some very solid guests on the show. I have a lot of good opportunities that have come up because of the podcast and the work I do with it. It's opened the doors career-wise. It's opened the doors just meeting people and all that kind of stuff. So expectations beyond exceeded, and very, very happy for that.
Yeah, and that's awesome. Like for us, like when we started, like it was just shooting the shit, just doing it for fun. Like doesn't care. It doesn't matter how many views you get. Exactly. It still doesn't matter how many views you get. It's just having fun with your friends, having fun, just talking about the sports you love, and the guests you get on. Like it's been an incredible journey, and like all expectations have been well exceeded. And it's
definitely.
And it's just so much fun. I don't want to stop anytime soon.
No, yeah, I got no intention to stop in. There's been we've gone through some changes, like, because life happens, especially us. We're all like in our late 20s, early 30s and all that kind of stuff. So people are getting married, people are moving, all that kind of stuff. But it's no matter what, I think that how we build the show, it's like we can definitely keep it going and just bring it on. Our buddy Tanner coming on and pretty much taking over that second seat has been huge. He's been great. He's been a lot of fun. Funny enough, he was our first guest. He happened to see like on a snap that we were recording, so he called in and we literally held the phone up to the mic so you can hear what he was saying. So yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, definitely don't plan on stopping. Just hopefully it's always gonna just expanding and adjusting to what the situation is.
Yeah, 100%. Like you've had many incredible guests on the shows. Like who's been like some of your favorites? Like I'm obviously guessing like Darling, Bolin, all them. But like how or what guests have been some of your favorites besides those guys?
So beside, I'll take out all the Hawks Cup guys, because we've been very fortunate to have those guys. Eddie Belfour would definitely be a big one. He's a legend. He is absolutely amazing. He doesn't do many hockey interviews anymore. He strictly is focusing on his whiskey company that he started, Belfour Spirits. So being able to get him on the show and have him talk hockey was amazing. It was just mind blowing, and listening to him tell the stories, and it was the fastest 30 minutes of my life. I wish it would have like slowed down a little bit. Yeah, he was a huge one. And then the Letterkenny guys, from the Letterkenny TV show. That's been an amazing relationship I've developed with the show, with the producers of that show and all that kind of stuff. So, Dylan Playfair was a lot of fun just because he plays Riley on the show, and he is 100% his character. He's he played hockey up until the time they started shooting that show. So he's a hockey guy through and through. His dad is the coach and one of the coaches on the Oilers and all that. So yeah, it's been cool because we've had the opportunity to talk to non hockey people, non Blackhawk people, but always have had that tie into hockey too, which has been really, really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And just listening to all those episodes, like it was amazing what they were saying, especially like the Letterkenny actors, and it was just super fun to get that perspective from like the acting point of view and like the show. Because I started watching that last year, and like that show is funny.
Oh, it is great.
It's fantastic, and it's like you could go on and watch 10, 15, 20 episodes back to back to back, and it's like no big deal. It's like you don't get tired of it.
Oh, and I've watched it a couple of times like through, and every time you watch it, you're still picking up other jokes. So hopefully, knock on wood, in a couple of weeks we'll be hearing a little bit more about possibly a new season. So that should be fun.
Yeah, for sure. And it's this whole thing has been just awesome. Like just the experience you go on from podcasting. Like life's a journey, and definitely like every opportunity, every step you take is definitely some type of journey onto your path. And it's just awesome to see like individually like how far people go, and like just like it's just unreal. Like there's no way to actually put it that makes it sound like perfect.
Yeah, it's loss of words type of thing too, because it's never in a million years that I think I would be doing anything like this. I've always wanted to create content kind of thing. Like I have my degree is in filmmaking and all that kind of stuff. So it's like I've always had that passion for creating and all that. But being able to put hockey and all this kind of stuff together, doing the new stuff I do with the 2-minute minor, like little videos and all that kind of stuff, is kind of bringing it all together too, full circle. But it's mind blowing, and what it's allowed me to do, what it's allowed me to experience, and seeing other people and hearing other people actually enjoying what I'm putting out there. That's like that right there. It's like worth it. It's like, even if it's one person saying like, "Oh man, I really enjoyed that episode," it's like, boom, right there. That's
it's just
awesome.
one person.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just like it builds like the confidence that you can keep doing it, and just like that, like someone actually does care, and it's just a really great feeling. Like you don't want to stop at all.
Right.
You want to keep producing content, keep going.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and like for me, like graphic design. Like I'm majoring in graphic design, so like graphic design, like I do like the overlays for the show and like the graphics that I put on like our Instagram and all that, and it's
Yeah,
just it
that stuff's
ties.
awesome too, man. Like I really enjoy that, especially like when you take like the quotes and stuff from like the episode. I'm like, that stuff's awesome.
Yeah, it's just it brings everything together and just like makes like the experience like more personal to everyone and just like brings like everyone together for sure.
Yeah, and then you get, and because you're putting so much of your time and your energy into it too, you have that just that extra satisfaction of like, wow, yeah, this is mine. This is I did this, and it's just like you said, it's weird. It's hard to put in words, and it sounds a little weird and all that kind of stuff because it's like, yeah, you're talking into a mic talking about a sport. Yeah, but it's like that sport is my life. That's like what I've been around the game since I was 2 years old and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like being able to have it all tying together. It's just, yeah,
Yeah, and it's like
speechless.
people are always like, how can you talk hockey so much? It's like it's my passion. Like it's my life. Like I've been playing since I was been skating since I was 3. I've been playing since I was 4, and it's like I want to like go pro obviously, and just like the even just mentally just playing like I have so much fun with it, and just it's so much fun. It's my life, and like
Yeah,
no one can tell
exactly.
me otherwise. It's just like it's my life, and yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it.
100%. Yeah, couldn't have said it better.
Yeah. So, do you want to plug in your podcast really quick and like where everyone can find you and everything like that?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, the Windy City Better podcast. You can check our website, wcbenders.com. I try my best to get that updated. I'm struggling a little bit lately. I got to get back on that. Um, you can find the show on, it should be every podcast app and all that kind of stuff, but the main ones we push is Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. Um, Instagram, WCB Podcast, Twitter, WCB Podcast, Facebook, if you're still on Facebook. I know that's kind of a dying system now, but yeah, anywhere there. Feel free to interact with us, reach out, send us a DM. You got questions you want us to ask for our question and answer part of the show. Feel free to hit us in the DM. Doesn't have to be hockey. Make it weird. Have fun. Let's do let's go.
They will answer their DMs too.
Yeah, we will. I will. Yes, I will. I get back to as many people as fast as possible.
That's all that matters, and as long as you get an answer, like that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
So, so
And
before we end,
if I take a little bit and we talk about doing something, stick with me and hang in there. I will get back. I will make it happen. I promise.
exactly, like we began this journey in what like at the beginning of quarantine, so like
Yeah.
March,
Yeah.
and we finally got you on in November. So it's been a long time coming, but
It'll
you're on
happen.
now,
Yeah.
and we both followed through.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So before we end this, you play men's league right now in the Veterans Hockey League. So you want to explain like the VHL and like your experience with that?
Yeah, so the Veterans Hockey League, right now they're playing when they are playing, they play out of the Fifth Third Arena in Chicago. And it's mostly so we're a special situation team. We're a civilian team that plays in it, but it's most of the teams are either veterans, first responders, or there are some teams that have like play for causes like Puck for Autism is one of the teams that's in there. All the funds and revenue go towards some different veteran communities in around Illinois. There is a foundation that one of the teams that actually runs it, Level Zero Heroes, that they push to. I want to say I'm probably gonna butcher it. I think it's Same Here is the foundation. It's all about the mental capacity and all that for veterans and all that kind of stuff. And it's a cool league. It's they go above and beyond. They make you feel like a pro and all that kind of stuff. They got some cool sponsorships. When the normal season's going on, they have an all-star game and skills competition. So it's a nice little way to make you feel like you're an NHL player in the beer league.
Yeah, that's awesome. What the VHL is doing, like with like all the vets and everything, it's just unreal to hear and to see what they're doing. Just a organization overall, the league. It's just so awesome seeing what they're doing. Just like everyone's having fun, treating you guys like pros. So it's definitely definitely a good league to be a part of.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully, I think this session, I think they're calling it just because of the COVID and all that kind of stuff. But I know they are always looking for more teams to try to expand it. I know they originally wanted to have like a higher level and a lower level for different play levels. So if you got a men's league team and you're looking to place to skate in Chicago, definitely hit them up.
Yeah, so go do that whenever they come back.
Yeah.
And but Jarom, this has been a ton of fun, and I really appreciate you coming on. It's been a while, but like it was good to get you on, just shoot the shit a little bit and talk hockey, podcast, NHL, like everything we talked about it was so much fun. So I'm
Oh man,
really glad to have you on.
I really appreciate the invite, and I'm glad we were able to finally get it done. And definitely got to do it again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a ton of fun.